good afternoon and welcome back to Crafters TV for the second show of the day, second live show of the day, which is our craft along, and I'm really looking forward to this one because it's all about our floral creations, which, will you believe, we've got another one back in stock. So we're really excited about this. One of the most useful set of beautiful dies that you can just add one to a project or make a full work of art with it. And I'm really excited about this one. I'm more excited because I love a craft along. I love the real-time crafting along. Are you going to be joining us and crafting along with us? And if you are, let us know. We've got lovely Johnny and Jamie in the gallery who are saying good afternoon to you guys. And we've got, now we've had a change of social media superstars. We've actually got Hayley in control of all those comments. So please do message through the Facebook or YouTube or however you're watching, so you can send your comments through. And don't forget, for anybody who's just joining us, today is National Hug a Cat Day. So we are doing a little bit of fun where we're doing a little bit of a giveaway. So for anybody, and we've had quite a few pictures in that hour break because we had quite a few send in this morning's one, but if you want to send in a picture of you with your cat, hugging your cat, it's studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk. Send that in for our Jamie to send then through to the studio, and you could be with a chance to win one of the goodies that I've got at the side of me here, just by simply commenting and sending a picture in. So that is that little bit done. However, I'm this side. I've done Hayley, I've done Johnny, I've done Jamie, but we have got a craft along headed up by one of our fabulous, wonderfully talented craft experts, and it is, of course, our lovely, gorgeous Lilly Fletcher. Have you had a nice break?
Well, I've not had a lot of a break, I'll be honest. I was on my emails sorting out my proper job, as I always call it. But yeah, I've had a bite to eat, bit of water, and I'm good to go. I'm raring to go because I'm super excited for this craft along. If any of you guys at home know my crafty style, you know I absolutely adore my flowers. So our Floral Creations has got to be one of my favourite products that we've brought out in the past year or so. And this is what we're going to create. Super clean and simple, super elegant, but actually really quite easy to put together when you've got those absolutely stunning floral creation dies, which is the focus of this project. So if you want to recreate something a little bit like this, here is exactly what you're going to need to get crafting with. So you'll need your floral creations, of course. And then as part of that collection, we actually launched two little paper pads, linen card pads they were, and we're going to use the spring and the summer ones of those. From the Age of Elegance collection, I'll give you a little sneak peek of this. It is coming up on tonight's launch party, but I thought we'll squeeze it in to the craft along. We're going to use the vintage frame die set, the Regency pattern embossing folder, and also the A4 luxury linen card pack. We're also going to be using that essential that we use day in, day out, our multi-purpose card and our black card. You're also going to need a noir black waterproof ink pad. Then in terms of all your tools and adhesives and all that sort of gubbins, you're going to need your Gemini 2 die cutting machine, you need some gems or pearls, Scoremaster scoreboard, magnetic stamping platform, scissors, pokey tool, all-purpose glue, tacky glue, foam pads or foam tape, and your low-tack tape as well. So that's everything you're going to need to get started and create this craft along. I'm super excited to get started. Let us know in the comments if you're crafting along or if you're going to be crafting this project maybe at a later date. Super excited for this one, cannot wait to get started.
And if you haven't got hold of the Floral Creations, you can now. Ooh. Really excited about this because my friend Linda, if you're watching, it's back in stock. Ooh. It's back in stock, but be quick again. If you saw the left fold alphabets earlier on today, you'll know just how extremely fast they were going. I think it's going to be a little bit similar to this right now. So, as you can see to the side of me here is the full set of the Floral Creations. Now, you're going to get a free bit of cardstock in this as well. And I say a free bit, it's actually quite a lot actually when you look at it in terms of the right size for all of those gorgeous floral dies and the foliage dies. I said that right? It's a foliage.
Yeah,
nearly right.
Yeah,
did I get it right?
Yeah.
I got it right, yes. Ooh. Finally I got it right. But yeah, you're going to get all of those and some stamps and the most useful container for when you die cut all your pieces out, you can pop them all into the container so that whenever you want to add an embellishment to a card or as you can see, that statement card on the very top that our lovely Nicole did, or was it, no, it wasn't Nicole, it was Marie.
Yeah,
Give a
is
big
that
shout out
Bianca?
to Marie. Marie did. It could be a statement piece that you use these for as well. So it's absolutely everything you need, plus that free paper pad, which is a gorgeous colours. In fact, I think it's called the Summer linen cardstock there, and absolutely gorgeous for $39.99 or $44.95. But that's the price that you would pay if you are not in Club Inspire. If you're in Club Inspire, the lowest you'll go to is in the purple box there at $31.99 or $35.96, which I just think is amazing. Now, I have seen that there's been a few comments coming in and a few hellos, so I'll shout a few hellos and then we'll get started with that craft along, because I know that's what you're here to watch. So we've got lovely Christine Mahoney on Facebook says, hello again. I didn't know you were here last time, Christine. No one put that through for us. We've got lovely Betsy Throop Black on Facebook says, good morning from Houston, Texas. Wendy Myers on Facebook says, good morning from a sunny southern Colorado. Chantel Jones, it says, good afternoon. Good day, everyone. And lots more of you joining us. So please do keep joining in with the comments, and I'll read a few more as we go along. Melanie D on YouTube says she's going to try and craft along with you, Lily.
Oh, exciting.
So exciting. So I think I'm going to stop because we are only here for an hour. So you can see the deal, you know what to do. Let's get cracking on with fabulous craft along from Lily.
Let's do it. So we're going to start off by creating our own card base. Now we're going to use some A3 cardstock for this. We don't have our A3 multi-purpose cardstock in stock at the moment, so all I'm doing is I'm using a piece of our Centura Pearl and I'm just using the reverse side. So single-sided Centura Pearl, I'm going to use the non-pearlized side. I'm using my scoreboard. You can use your smaller scoreboard, it could be your Scoremaster, but here we're going to use our big score, so it's completely up to you what scoreboard you're going to use. And on the long edge, we are going to score at 6.5 inches. So find your 6, then find the halfway between your 6 and your 7 inch, and you're going to score down. And now, like I always say, don't go in like a bull in a china shop. Go in a little bit more softly and go over that score line multiple times rather than trying to go down really heavy on one sort of score down that line. Go in multiple times, and then you've got much less chance of actually ripping or tearing your cardstock. It's going to give you a crisper, neater score line to your project. So there is our score line, all done and good to go at 6.5 inches. Just go in and burnish that score line using your bone folder, and that will give you that lovely crisp score to your card base. Then we're going to bring in our guillotine, and here we're going to pull up our lever and we're going to just line this up. So we're going to trim off this excess here. So we're going to trim down to 6.5 inches. So find our 6.5 and then just trim down. And at this stage, we're going to pull out our little arm to our guillotine, and that's just going to extend that out, ready to cut down on a larger section. So we've got our 6.5 there, and all we're going to do is we're going to turn our card base and we're going to cut down on the other side, so it's going to be 7.5. And that's going to give us a 7.5 by 6.5 inch card base, just like so. And even if you've not got your A3 multi-purpose, you can still use your your single-sided Centura Pearl, and that's going to work an absolute treat. Leave that to one side for just a moment, and this is where I'm going to bring in my selection of cardstock for my mats and layers. We're starting off with our blue cardstock, which is actually linen card from that Floral Elegance collection. That will be over on the shop today. I know we've got it on tonight's launch party. So if you wanted to stock up on this, I have to say colourways, and this is just absolutely stunning. And if I bring in some of the papers, that's actually the paper from the Spring 3x6 card pack. You can see it's almost the same Pantone shade, so they're going to work perfectly when we come to adding our flowers a little bit later on. So we're going to go down in 1/4 inch increments. So our card base was 6.5 by 7.5. So this means for our first mat and layer, we are going to be looking at 7.25 by 6.25. At this point, we don't need our little arm out anymore, so we're just going to slot that back in, and it just makes our guillotine a little bit more compact. So first mat and layer, good to go. So if that's going to be 6.25 by 7.25, we'll bring in our black cardstock, and this one is going to be 6 inches by 7 inches. So once again, going down your 1/4 of an inch increments. So 6 inches by 7 inches. And just check that your mats and layers are lining up nicely. You can see they fit together absolutely perfectly. Then next up, we're going to go in with some of our white multi-purpose cardstock. It's my go-to white cardstock whenever I'm using cardstock for my card bases. Whenever I'm doing die cutting on plain white cardstock, I always use my fabulous multi-purpose. It just gives you that lovely finish, a really nice construction weight as well. For this one, once again, we're going to go for a 1/4 of an inch smaller, so it's going to be 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. And as always, before we stick anything together, let's just make sure that's lining up nicely, just like so. Let's move this guillotine out of the way for just a moment, and we're going to start to actually stick together our mats and layers. And now I have been saving to one side all the little scraps, all the offcuts that are cut there where we're doing that bit of matting and layering. I've left that to one side because when we do our next sets of mats and layers, we will be using those scraps. You know what I'm like, I never throw an inch of cardstock away. I hate waste. I hate having to throw any of our pretty papers and card away. So any way that we can actually reuse any of those little scraps, I'm definitely all for. So let's just pop that in the centre, and I'm using my Collal all-purpose glue. This is actually a solvent-based glue, and it's absolutely fantastic for your mats and layers. We always say it dries sort of like concrete. Once it's dried really firm, really solid, and you know that those mats and layers or those projects that you're creating are not going to go anywhere, they're not going to fall apart. But once you actually pop that down onto your cardstock, with it being a wet adhesive, you do have that little bit of wiggle room, which makes it ideal for your matting and layering, because you've got those few moments just to manoeuvre it into position, line it up, making sure you've got it nice and central, and once you are, burnish it into position, and then you know it's going to be stuck nice and solid. Lining that up into the centre of there, you can see we've got the start of our mats and layers for our card, and that's just going to go onto our card base just like so. I have to say, I love my mats and layers. They sort of frame your projects, they draw your eye into the centre, and they just give them that really luxurious feel, which I just love. Popping that into the centre. Just like
frames
that.
everything, doesn't it, when you do all your mats and layers?
It certainly does. I know Debbie, you're the same as me. We love our mats and layers, don't we? We love
absolutely.
lots and lots of layers of card. Now, if I was crafting at home, I would quite likely gut those centres. And when we talk about gut, I know it's a bit of a grim word, let's be honest. We sort of take the centre out, and your paper trimmer or a craft knife is ideal for doing that. So that's our first lot of mats and layers. A little top tip for me, when I'm crafting at home, I tend to pop it under my glass mat, or you can also pop your mats and layers underneath your Gemini plates, just to keep them nice and flat as they dry. And it's going to make sure that they actually dry nice and flat and without any kinks or anything like that in them. So definitely top tip, while you work on your next set of mats and layers, pop those other mats and layers under something a little bit heavier like your glass mat or your Gemini plates, just to dry and set. So next up, we're going to go back to a little bit more of our matting and layering. So taking that offcut of multi-purpose cardstock that we cut just a few moments ago, and this one is going to be cut down to 5.5 inches by 4.5. So let's find our 4.5, trim down that edge, and then we're going to find our 5.5, just like so. Then we'll cut out the corresponding mats and layers to that. So same sort of pattern, if you like, as we had for our previous set of mats and layers. We're going to go black, and then we're going to go for our blue. So the one before being 4.5 by 5.5, so this one is going to have to be 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. So just finding those lines, and then that's going to match up perfectly. And then finally, we're going to go back to that extra little scrap of our blue cardstock that we had, and this one is going to be 6 inches by 5 inches. So there's our 6-inch line, trim down that way. And I love the fact that we have a grid line across all of our guillotines. It's not just the measurements at the top there, you've got that full grid across that whole platform, which makes it so much easier to line your mats and layers up and make sure you get no skew whiffy edges, which is definitely not what we want. Right, leaving that to one side for just a moment.
I've had a question, Lily.
Oh, yeah.
From Melanie D. She says, what size is your finished card?
My finished card is 6.5 inches by 7.5.
Fabulous, thank
So
you.
6.5 by 7.5, and that's the card base that we created at the start. Now, we could be taking our card base and we could be layering those pieces back onto there, but we're actually going to take this white piece, this smaller white piece that we've just cut, and we're actually going to do a little bit of embossing with this one. Now, once again, bringing in another item from that Age of Elegance collection. I don't know if you can notice, I quite like this collection, given it seems to be sneaking in on everything. It's just stunning, absolutely beautiful. And I thought, let's go in, let's add a little bit of texture onto this piece of cardstock. Nothing that's going to overtake that focal point. It's not going to overtake those beautiful flowers when we go to sort of adorn our card with those. But it's going to give that extra little bit of something that's going to make it look that little bit more luxurious. Now I have to say for me, one of the plate combinations I always struggle with is my embossing folders. Sometimes I just forget. Die is absolutely fine, embossing a die, fine. Embossing folders, I can sometimes have a little bit of a mental block, but 2D embossing folders, you need your 2 cutting plates because it's 2, 2, 2, which kind of makes sense, but sometimes it's one of those that I have a little bit of a tendency to forget. But there you can see, absolutely gorgeous. One pass through that die cutting machine, the depth, the detail on there is absolutely stunning. Years ago, before we had our die cutting machines, before everyone was die cutting and embossing, we used to buy, I'm sure Debbie will be the same, we used to buy textured cardstock, already embossed
All the
cardstock.
time.
It was not cheap. It really was not cheap.
It
was
always had a
expensive
premium
stuff.
price, didn't it, a textured card?
Yeah. I mean, we always used to buy it because we used to love it. We used to love that texture, that touch of luxury it gave our cards, but quite often, because we'd spent, let's be honest, a pretty penny on it, we'd sit there stroking it more than we'd use it in our crafting. But when you've got your embossing folders, when you've got your own die cutting machines, it allows you to actually sort of manufacture that yourself, which is super exciting. And it means as well you can emboss any colour of cardstock. You're not limited to sort of the white card, or maybe it would be black card that you could buy pre-embossed. You've got complete creative freedom to actually emboss any colour, any texture, any finish of cardstock you so choose, which I just absolutely love. I always think embossing folders are a little bit underrated. Definitely get them out, add texture to your cardstock. As well, if you've got a little scrap of cardstock that's maybe a little bit dog-eared, maybe it's a little bit worse for wear, you don't want to throw it away, you still want to use it, run it through an embossing folder and it will make a big difference. It can sort of take off that slightly crinkly edge and it gives it a brand new lease of life, which I absolutely adore. So that's going to go down onto there like so. Love the fact with this embossing folder, you can have it sort of in any direction that you so choose. That is totally your choice. I'm just thinking this one would be amazing. Black cardstock with a bit of gilding wax. Oh, that would be gorgeous. Lots and lots of different options with this fabulous pattern, but it's just going to give us that extra little bit of texture when we are popping our card together. And it's one of those things that makes a big difference to your card making, layers and texture. When you've got maybe texture of ribbons or gems or pearls or you're embossing, it really does make your cards feel that little bit more luxurious, and especially if you're selling your makes, and that's going to be absolutely perfect. So going in with some of our foam pads, of course you could be using your foam tape, but just because this is what we've got to hand today here in the studio, we're going in with our foam pads. But like on this morning's show, when I demonstrated that lovely shaker card, showing that you don't always have to use the foam tape. If that's not what you've got in your crafty stash, you can still go in with your foam pads and you can still get a lovely effect. About 3mm depth on these foam pads, so they're fairly deep, so they're going to give us that nice little bit of lift when we pop this onto our card base. Peeling off the backing, and then let's just pop that into the waste just like so, and then we'll line up our card. I think we shall have it that way around. It doesn't really matter, your choice, but it's one of those like this way, that way, totally up to you. And that's going to go into the centre just like that. And that is how quick and easy it is to layer up your card base, all ready to add our frames, ready to add our flowers, and ready to get to the fun bit, the decorating. They're making it look super, super pretty, which for me is what I love about crafting.
It's beautiful. I love that embossing folder. Lovely Ellie, who's social media superstar earlier today, she said she loves that embossing folder as well because she loves that collection, which we'll be featuring later on tonight in our launch party show, because we've got the Age of Elegance on. Melanie D says as well, hello, oh, sorry. She said, I've already said that, she's Melanie, are you crafting along? Let us know, keep the comments coming in, because don't forget, of course, we love to hear what you're getting up to, we love to know what you're doing, and also we love what's coming ahead, because it's Hug a Cat Day, International Hug a Cat Day, and we've had some more pictures being sent in, so for everybody who's sending pictures in right now, you will go into that prize draw, because we're going to be drawing something just for sending in this lovely picture. So this is from Amanda King. Oh, have you not named them? So you've got your beautiful dog and cat. Look at them getting along side by side, snoozing together. Amanda, let us know what they're called. Beautiful, beautiful colour on your cats. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, this is Chloe and Nitro? Oh, Nitro, whichever way you pronounce that. And that's from Chantel, is that right? Oh, from Chantel in Australia.
Ooh, in Australia, wow.
I love that. That's beautiful. Look again, cat and dog getting on. And then this one is from Kim Rice.
Oh.
Oh my God, look. Is that like a Siamese? Are they Siamese cats? Nemo and
Mushroom.
Mushroom.
Oh, what a name. That's brilliant.
Oh, that's so lovely. And then look at this. This is Rebecca hugging her cat. So Rebecca Wilson. What's Rebecca's cat called?
Bentley. Ooh.
Love that name. That's very posh. She's crafting along with me at craft. Oh, Rebecca, I do not. I've got my specs on, Rebecca, but I'm a little bit rubbish with seeing things out of them properly. So you came along to Chesterfield. That's fabulous. And you did a craft along with me. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Rebecca. Love your cat as well. Absolutely beautiful. Keep them coming in. It's just a little bit of fun. It really is just a little bit of fun. Where it is, of course, National Hug a Cat Day, as random as that. Studio at crafterscompanion.co.uk. I should do it that way, shouldn't I, Jamie? There you go. Send your pictures in and we will draw, well, I won't draw someone, the social media superstar team will draw someone out and announce the winner at the end of the show. Lily, I think we've kind of caught up with every other mats and layers.
Yeah.
Bit little chat there.
Yeah.
Shall we crack on with a bit more?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into a little bit of die cutting. So we've got to the point where we've laid up our card base. We've got almost like two sets of mats and layers, if you like, which really does frame it and draw your eye into the centre. But of course, we need something in the centre to actually draw our eye towards. And this is where we're going to bring in some of our dies from that Age of Elegance collection. Do excuse that packaging. I have to say it wasn't me that opened it. It is a little bit of a mess. But of course, if you are going for those fantastic magnetic sheets and your die storage folder, you don't need to worry about that. You can take that out and you can pop that straight onto your magnetic sheets and store them nice and safe in those binders, which is a great way to house your dies and protect everything and make sure you know where everything is and it doesn't get damaged. So with your vintage frame die set here, you get two separate dies as part of this die set. So you get your outer frame, cut that on its own. It's going to cut that beautiful detail all around the edge. You can see the swirling hearts, you've got all the flourishes, all that stunning, stunning detail all around the edge. But that's going to cut it out so you've got a space of cardstock in the middle. Of course, you could stamp onto that, you could be layering anything onto that. But bring in this die and use these two in conjunction together, and this is going to cut this out as a frame. So that centre section there is actually going to be an aperture into your cardstock, and that's exactly what we're going to do for this particular design here. So taking another scrap of our cardstock that we saved from a little bit earlier when we were doing all our mats and layers, and we're going to line, doesn't quite fit, we're going to have to save that for our sentiment. Always a bit gutting when you think you've got a big enough piece of cardstock but you've not, but never mind. Let's go to another piece of our white cardstock, multi-purpose cardstock of course. Let's trim that down to size and then we're going to line these up. Now it's completely up to you. Some people actually find it easier first to pop your middle die in and line the outer die up around that. That's completely up to you. I think it's one of those, it kind of depends on the way that your eyes work, the way that you actually see things. But for me, I find it a lot easier to pop that outer die down first, make sure that's central on my piece of cardstock, and then take that inner die and line that up. And it's very easy to actually do this. All you want is an even spacing all around that centre section there. And then we're just going to take that down and we're going to run that through our die cutting machine. Now with this being a really quite intricate, gorgeously detailed die, you want to make sure that you've got enough pressure in that machine. So you might have seen on this morning's masterclass, I keep saying this morning, we all keep doing it, it was technically this afternoon, it was morning somewhere, so it's fine. We actually took out that magnetic shim when we were cutting those more straightforward left fold alphabet dies, but because this is such a gorgeously detailed and intricate die, what we want to be doing is making sure we've got that magnetic shim in, just to ensure we've got enough pressure. So we're going in with our base cutting plate, and then we've got our die sandwich with our cardstock next to that, and then the next plate up is our frosted shim, and then above that we have our magnetic shim and our second cutting plate, and that's going to give you that perfect pressure to cut that through your die cutting machine. Look how beautiful that is, all that detail die cut with one pass, and they will fit through your junior machine absolutely perfectly. We did just use the junior plates there through our large format machine. And you can see how by using the two dies together, you get that beautiful frame element with the aperture in the middle. Wouldn't that be ideal? Perhaps you're doing a scrapbook page, you could be popping photos in there, especially if they're sort of old black and white photos. That would look absolutely gorgeous, almost like a cameo, that sort of effect. Just stunning. And all we're going around and doing now is just popping out all our little pieces from our die, using our pokey tool. You can of course use your die brush tool if you find that a little bit easier.
Do you do the dropsy?
I don't, I have to say I don't.
Yeah, do you do the dropsy where we drop it onto the mat?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Debbie are terrible for it. I don't know if Craig does it. I've not really seen
I'm not
Craig
sure
do
he
it.
does. I'm not sure he does. I have to say, it's not for me. It's not.
Well, it's better than tapping. I used to scare people with tapping. So I've now done the dropsy, where drop it from a height and it just comes down.
It is very loud, I'll be honest. When we're sat through in our little office down the corridor and you guys are live and you're dropping dies left, right, centre, we can hear you.
Can you?
Oh, we can. Yeah.
Oh, no?
Oh, yeah, we can. Oh.
As long as it doesn't go into the other office where Leanne sat, I'm okay with that.
Loud. Oh, she doesn't like tapping dies, does she, Leanne? She does not like us hitting our dies. See, it's all, I know I personally don't like it, but it is all right tapping your dies as long as you tap them
on the right side.
Blade facing up. Do not tap that blade against the surface. It will.
I always say the
blade.
smooth. Do the smooth side. Tap on the smooth side.
But if you want to hit your dies, go for it. Whatever you do in the comfort of your own home is your choice. I choose not to, whether I'm here or at home. I'll be honest, if I'm tapping dies left, right and centre at home, there'll be die cut pieces even more all over the floor, which is not what we like. Oh, I hoovered up, when was it? Sunday morning, and within about an hour of hoovering up, it was already covered again. It was like, oh. It's one of those sort of never-ending jobs, isn't it? You can hoover the floor, get crafting again, 5 minutes later, it's sort of, you'll never have known that the hoover had been there. Die cut pieces are the worst. They just get absolutely everywhere. And as neat and tidy as you try to be, like I'm trying to not get the pieces absolutely everywhere here, they always seem to find a way of getting themselves all over the carpet. I mean, at least I can see them at home. I have a cream carpet, so I can definitely see them. Yeah, pop all those pieces out using your die brush tool, using your poker tool, or just by hitting that die. That is completely your choice. But look how absolutely stunningly detailed that is once you popped all those pieces out. Really does remind me of a cameo, which I think is just totally stunning. So let's pop all our die cut pieces, hopefully in the bin, maybe some on the floor, we shall see. And then we are going to start to bring these two together. We're going to do a little bit of drop shadowing. I'm sure a lot of you guys at home will know I love a drop shadow. I think it makes a huge difference when we're constructing our cards. If we were to bring the card in here, if we were to pop our white on there, it will get completely lost, which is not what we want. We do want a subtle bit of detail, but we don't want it to get totally lost. If we pop on the black, it's a little bit stark. It's very, very intense, and we don't really want the focus to be this frame. We want the focus to be our flowers. So if we bring the two together, slight drop shadow of the black, we can still see the frame, but it's not sort of overtaking any design that we're going to pop on afterwards. So at home I tend to use my tacky glue in my fine tip glue applicator, but just for speed here in the studio, so we don't have to literally watch glue dry, which is even worse than watching paint dry, we are going to go in with our dotty tape pen. This is ideal for getting into all those fine details. You don't want to be using your regular tape pen because you will get all those sort of snotty bits of glue between the intricate die cut bits, which is not what we want. So just line that up, and it's one of those questions we get asked time and time again. How do you line up your drop shadows? I always have my lower layer slightly down and slightly towards the left, but honestly it's totally personal preference. You don't always have to have it in that direction. It can be in any direction you so choose. It really is personal preference. My main tip with that would be make sure you don't have a really, really sort of large drop shadow. It can sort of give you a little bit of an effect, almost like you know when your TV is a little bit out of focus and it's all a bit fuzzy and you're not quite sure what you're looking at, it looks a little bit like that, which is absolutely not what you want. So a nice subtle drop shadow, just that little touch, little hint of the colour underneath is going to be what you want to go for. And quite often we tend to go for our black cardstock, it tends to be our metallic cardstock with our drop shadows, but of course you can use any colour of cardstock, any texture of cardstock whatsoever to do a drop shadow. It's not sort of a rule of, or you can only drop shadow with black, you can only drop shadow with a dark colour. If you want to have your dark colour on the top and you want your light colour underneath, then there's nothing at all from stopping you from doing that. So it's just whatever is going to fit in terms of the colour theme of your project. We're going to go in here with some foam pads. Although we've got the drop shadow with the black card, by having this lifted up a little bit, it's actually going to leave us those little shadows underneath. So it's going to give us even more depth in addition to our card drop shadow that we've die cut. Layering that into the centre, trying to line it up top and bottom. I'm sort of looking at these middle points here to try and line that up nice and straight. And you can see that we've got that in the centre there, just like so. How glamorous and elegant does that look? I just absolutely love that die. I think it's beautiful, and I love the fact that you've got the opportunity to use either both the dies together like we have done here to give you that lovely frame element, or you can just use them separately, and that's going to give you a solid space in the centre where you can layer anything at all in the middle of there. Now we're going to quickly bring in our sentiment. I love the fact that with our floral creations, it's not just about all those absolutely beautiful dies. We have got all these sentiment stamps as well. These are going to be super useful. I actually use these time and time again in my crafting because whenever you want a floral stamp, whenever you've got any other flowers that you're using, it could be a floral topper, it could be a floral stamp that you're using for that project. Whenever you want that sort of floral language, so to speak, these are going to be absolutely perfect because of course you've got more everyday things like have a fantastic day, but the fact that we've got things that are more centred around florals, like we've got here live life in full bloom, that's going to be perfect for using alongside projects like these. So just going to cut down a strip of our white cardstock, which we're going to stamp onto, and then let's go up about 1/4 inch for our black cardstock that we're going to layer this next one onto. So let's just check that is looking about right. Looks good to me. And these are all the little strips, by the way, that we actually trimmed off earlier, so nothing is going to waste. I just saved them at one pile to the side of me, so I knew that we're going to be using those a little bit later on. And then that's going to layer onto our blue. Lovely. Let's leave our trimmer to one side. I think that's all of our actual cutting for this project, so it's not too much in terms of all your trimming. Then let's bring in our stamping platform. For me, this is my absolute go-to when it comes to our stamping. It's perfect to give you that lovely crisp stamped impression, but if you do miss a little bit, maybe you didn't press down hard enough, or perhaps you actually didn't quite ink up one area quite enough, then it allows you to actually go back in and re-stamp over that same area, which is fabulous. So let's just pop that into the middle of our section. We are going to trim off that left-hand side a little bit later. So it's best to have that side on the left a little bit longer, and you can always trim it down afterwards. Picking that up onto the lid of our stamping platform. And for me, one of my go-tos, whenever I want a nice crisp black stamp sentiment, I go for my Finesse waterproof ink pad. Little Birdie has told me these are coming back into stock. I know a lot of you guys at home have asked, are we getting these back? Absolutely we are. Hang tight. I know we have reordered them, so they are on their way, don't you worry.
I didn't even realise they'd been out of stock.
They have, yeah, sadly.
Oh,
yeah,
well, that's good to know.
For me, they're my absolute go-to. I know Craig's the same. I know he uses them an awful lot to actually stamp with as well. So I'm really pleased that they are coming back. You can see how crisp and clean that is, even with that incredible detail. It's a very fine detailed stamp with that beautiful sentiment. But even on the smallest stamps, that's going to give you that lovely crisp stamped impression, which is absolutely perfect. Right, I'm going to pop my stamp back on its little sheet just to make sure nothing goes amiss. It's going to be stored back on there. And then all we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of matting and layering to pop these onto our corresponding mats and layers. Now, leaving these as rectangles to start with, I'm going to glue it down first, and then I'm going to trim the edges off afterwards just to make it a little bit neater. I find you get the best finish that way. So popping that centrally. I'm not worried about that left-hand side. We are going to trim that off in just a few moments, like I say. But then let's just go to that right-hand edge, and we're just going to follow that little tag sort of pennant shape there and just cut down, and then we'll go on to our next mat and layer. I have to say I love this sort of shape to pop your sentiment on, just to trim it onto a little banner at the end. Of course you could leave this onto a rectangle, or you could even have it on a smaller die cut shape, but I just love that effect of having that little sort of forked end to your sentiment. I think it gives it really nice little bit of detail. Same again with this one. We'll just trim that off like so onto that diagonal, and then that's going to be our sentiment all done and good to go onto our project. But we will wait to stick that down for a little bit until we've got our flowers in position, and then we're going to know exactly how far to the left or to the right we are going to want our sentiment. Now you can see our card's starting to take shape already. You can see our mats and layers, you can see our framing elements all ready to be adorned with those gorgeous flowers, which is exactly what we're going to be doing in a few moments time. So we'll give you just a few minutes to catch up if you are crafting along, or maybe a chance to check out your baskets, and we will be crafting even more in just a few moments time.
And we've had a few more pictures come in, which we'll be sharing with you in... shall we do it now? Yeah. Let's do it now. So lovely Jen has... that's a proper hug. What was that, Johnny? A fur grand... Oh, I love that. I've got a fur grandbaby, but in the form of a dog. And it's Milo. Oh, Jen, Milo's beautiful. Look at him proudly posing. Yeah, very proud pose yeah. There. Love that. Thank you very much for sharing, Jen. Mary sent in a picture. Oh, the Cactus Gizmo and a bearded dragon Draco. Did they get on? They get on.
Wow.
My goodness me, look at that, that's amazing. I've not seen a bearded dragon up close and personal.
No,
So look how they're getting on though, sat there side by side. That's lovely. Thank you, Mary, for sharing your lovely picture. Carletta has sent in as well. Wait a minute, what's going off here? Max, Rosie, Holly, and Little Miss. Watching the birds there. Look at them. I did wonder what they were doing. I thought, you know what we could have done is superimposed a picture of us watching CTV. That's what we could have done, Carletta. Thank you very much for sharing your lovely cats there. I did have someone commented earlier saying, let's get this, because it's National Cat Day. She said, let me see if I can get this back up again. Any Catherine or Catherines watching, we could all hug you. Hug a cat day. Absolutely, Chantel. I love that one. A good idea. Now, before we go back for the final part of the craft along, we've got a few other little cheeky deals that we've sandwiched into this show for you. And this one's a really, really good deal because it's all about our Aqua Blend pencils. And there are artist quality watercolour pencils. And not just the one tin, but you've got 3 tins here for the price that you're seeing on the screen. So you're getting 72 pencils in total. And I'll show you the colourways in a second, but look at the price, £48 or $58. That would be the price you would pay if you was not in Club Inspire. But of course you are. And the lowest you'll pay today is £38.40 or $46.40 for some incredible pencils that offer you as a colourist, and literally, the most easiest way to lay down colour and that gorgeous watercolour effect in the form of these Aqua Blend pencils. So the first set is the landscape colours. Now they come in their lovely presentation tin, but I always feel like you get a better judge of what is in there, which is those fabulous colours, and there are 24 in each one, and you can see all of those gorgeous colours that literally are they're fully water soluble. So you scribble a little bit down, take a water medium brush, whether it be a clear overlay, whether it be a paintbrush with a bit of water, and you can get that lovely effect of that watercolour in the form of your pencil. They are thick, rich, pigmented colours that are absolutely fully water soluble and so easy to do. And we say 24 colours, but really, when you think about all the different shades that you can make and mix, your colour list is quite long. So that's your essential. That's your landscape. Then we're moving on to the essentials. So you're going to get the essentials in this, and again, just bring in those colours so you can see how fabulous they are. And then lastly, in this collection, and it really is a collection, is the really useful portrait one. So your portrait collection with all of those gorgeous skin tone colours in there, and then a few extras as well. They really are beautiful to blend with. We talk about blending effortlessly. I don't think you could pick a finer medium to do all of that with our Aqua pencils. So that deal that you're seeing on the screen is, nearly dropped them then, for all 3 tins that you are getting. They're so slippy and slidey on this counter. I'm hanging on to those. There we go. All 3 tins, 72 pencils in total, and it is your fully water soluble, and they are artist quality. Aqua Blend pencils, I think that's an absolutely fabulous deal. Look at the price, it speaks for itself. What does that equate to, Johnny? Is that by, because they are normally £25. Yeah, normally £25, so, wow. £16 a tin instead of 25, that's how you would look at it. Oh, what was that? £12 a tin if you're platinum, and these sell at £25. That's an amazing deal. So take advantage when we have flash deals like this on. It's absolutely incredible, and well worthy of maybe treating yourself to a fantastic colouring medium there as well. Now, I think we're going to go back for our final part of our craft along with our Floral Creations, and this is when we get all into the fabulousness of creating those gorgeous flowers, because they are back in stock. Linda, are you watching? Have you finished work? Not quite, but I'll message you, let you know that they're back in stock, and look at the price, $39.99 and $44.95. Of course, if you're in the club, you take off your membership level. The lowest you're going to pay there today, if you are platinum or brand new to Club Inspired today, is $31.99 or $35.96. Right, Lily, back to you.
Let's do it, yeah, to the fun part, the part where we're going to create our flowers, the part where we're actually going to bring in that floral creation, we're going to adorn that frame, we're going to start to build up those floral compositions, which is what I absolutely love doing. I could literally while away the hours creating my flowers, creating those compositions. It's just so much fun and something you can get totally lost in doing. So we're going to bring in our floral creations. Now if I actually show you the finished project here, we've used some of those beautiful flowers in 2 different sizes, plenty of foliage around the edge as well. But if you know me, you know I struggle to make the same card twice. So we might be varying up the flowers ever so slightly, but it's all about showing you the technique as to how we put these together. Now, the biggest tip I can give you with these dies is exactly what I've done at home. So I've actually taken my own advice for once in my life. And I would say definitely get your magnetic sheets to store these on. Because some of the dies are quite small and because you get so many dies, you literally get 2 full sheets of dies just in this one collection. I would say 100% make sure you're getting your magnetic sheets. Make sure you are actually storing these correctly. Pop them in your binders, you'll know exactly where they are. And when you know where your crafty stash is and when you know exactly what you've got to work with, you're much more likely to use those items. I always find if I'm not storing my craft stash correctly, if it's all in a little bit of a mess, I'm much less likely to use those items, quite frankly, more than anything, because I don't know what I've got. I don't know where everything is. I don't exactly know where I've got. So store it correctly, make sure you've got everything in the right place, stored perfectly, and you will be much more likely to make and take advantage of everything you've got in your crafty stash. Now I have used some of the cardstock from that spring paper pad for this larger flower. Then I'm using some of that linen card from the Sarah Signature Age of Elegance collection, just to show you can use your linen card you've already got in your stash alongside the linen card that we've got in those packs. Linen card in those small packs, you get the summer one of course, in that collection. You get it for free actually. This green is exactly the one from that collection. 250 GSM, so you're going to be able to mould this, you're going to be able to shape it, but it's still going to hold its form. It's not going to be too flimsy that when you start to actually pop those flowers together, they're going to start to lose their shape that you've carefully put into them. It's still going to be perfectly holding its shape once you get crafting with these. I'm going to take this lovely sort of, I want to think of it, I always think it's a little bit like baby's breath, this. I'm not sure, it could be any colour you want it to be, but I always think it works quite nicely cutting that one in white. So we're going to take some of our multi-purpose card and we're going to cut a couple of those in white. Got our flowers all done and good to go. We've got 2 of those larger flower and we've got 4 of the smaller flower. Let's bring in some of these lovely, almost like fern leaves with this one. I think it's just stunning, that design. Let's do a couple of those. And then our leaves, I think we'll cut a couple of those as well. Love the size that we have of this 3x6 card pad. You can still get plenty on a sheet, but it's just a handy size. You can of course be storing it in the box with your floral creations as well, if you so choose. That choice is yours. Let's cut a couple of those lovely sort of more curved leaves that you've got there. I'm going to cut a couple of this one that actually curves in the opposite direction, which is really quite useful, so that you can actually have your wreaths sort of curving in different ways. So let's just tape these down to our cardstock. So as always, using some of our low tack tape to make sure that nothing is going to slip and slide as it moves through our die cutting machine. We're going to cut quite a few at a time here, so we do want to make sure that nothing is going to move as it passes through that machine. Let's go in with our lovely floral there. And if you are using that A4 die plate, then you are going to get tons and tons on just that one pass through the machine. So if you are batch making, or if you're going to be making something with tons and tons of florals on it, then it's going to be ideal to actually load that plate nice and full with all of your leaves, all of your florals, and you're going to be good to go and start to create all those beautiful compositions.
I think you're inspiring a few here. Stephanie Theodos on Facebook says she's getting inspired to try this card for her mother-in-law's 93rd birthday.
Oh wow, well congratulations,
I know.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Sharon Sweeney Stupa on Facebook says just watching right now but might try a similar card later. Chantel Jones on YouTube, she's definitely making this later, she says. And Karen Hughes says she thinks she's got some dies in a stash that could do a similar card. She's watching and loving it though whilst waiting for a delivery. And our lovely Stephanie Theodos on Facebook says, Debbie, use your ideas get this, trendsetter. Debbie, use your ideas from gilding flakes using the silicone mat and it works. Thank you. That's what we're here for. I only found it because I saw something myself similar on I think it was on the YouTube thingy, and that's why I shared that with you. But yeah, keep those comments coming in. If you are going to make this project at home, please do share across your socials and tag myself and Lily in there so we can have a little nosy, because we love to have a little nosy. Yeah. And we love to see people's takes on things as well. Yeah, so, yeah,
we do. We are both very nosy, both me and Debbie. We love looking at what you guys at home are creating, so please do tag us, share your makes, and show us exactly what you are making. So we're going to run this through the die cutting machine again, just to die cut multiples, and you can start to layer your flowers together once you've done all your die cutting. So let's leave our leaf. Oh dear, I'm turning to Ben. It might not be here, but the jokes have stayed. Oh dearie me. I'm going to leave those to one side for just a moment, for when we start to actually build up our lovely composition. And then let's just take that out of the die, just like so. I'm going to cut another of these beautiful florals from our linen cardstock. I'm going to cut another of our, almost like your baby's breast, as I like to think of it, from your white cardstock. Then let's cut our lovely fern from our green cardstock. Another couple of our leaves from our green linen card that, don't forget, came from that beautiful summer paper pad that you're getting for absolutely nothing as part of that amazing collection, which is, quite frankly, I don't know about you, Debbie, but it's my favourite price. Is that free? If only more
I love anything free. Anything free.
We absolutely do, yeah. And especially when you get all those gorgeous papers, all those beautiful colours within that paper pad. Love the fact that we have got that for absolutely nothing whatsoever. Let's trim that down. I'm turning to you, Debbie, saying to you yesterday, grab it onto the junior plate. She's daft because I'm using an A4 die cutting machine and I've got the A4 plates to the side of me, but it's become almost like a challenge.
I know, yeah. I think we do it to ourselves all the time, don't we?
It's terrible. What are we doing? We've got a lovely A4 die cutting machine, lots of lovely A4 plates, but no, let's cram it all onto a junior plate. I suppose I'll say that I'm just showing you guys at home that you can use your smaller machines if you so choose. So another of those beautiful baby's breath there. Let's take that out. Another of those, I have done it, I've tapped the down to the table. What's that all about? Oh dear. Another of those beautiful larger flowers there. So we've got two, so we can create our double layer, which is something I love to do quite often when I'm creating my florals. I like to do that double layer to give you a little bit more of a full effect to your florals. We've got a few more leaves as well, a little bit more foliage. It's always a good idea to cut out more than perhaps you think you need. And then if you don't end up using all those pieces, then you know that you've got them spare for another project. Brilliant as well, the fact that you actually get your little boxes, that little lovely quality clear box as part of the Floral Creations. So you've even got the storage solution sorted already, which I think is incredible. Let's just leave them to one side. And then all it is a case of doing now is just die cutting two more of our little flowers. So there's our little flower. Let's take that. I'm going to die cut two more of these. You could probably die cut 2 layers at once if you so choose, if you want to be really speedy with your die cutting. But here we're just going to go in for 1 layer. Once we've heard that die cut, there we go, you can hear the pitch change as it runs through that die cutting machine as it's moved over the die. We're just going to reverse it back out just to save us a little bit of time. Love the fact we can do that with the Gemini. I think it's super efficient when it comes to our crafting. There's our next one, and then finally one more of these lovely little flowers. We'll run that through our Gemini machine once again, and that's going to be all of our flowers, all of our foliage, all ready, all die cut, ready to be shaped, ready to be moulded, ready to be glued together, and to finish this card off, hopefully beautifully. Let's run that through there, and then that will give us our final flower, just like that. So let's pop that out of our die, and you do have all your release holes on the reverse of the die, so it's nice and easy to grab your pokey tool and just release that die cut from your die. Now, in terms of shaping, of course, we do sell our I was trying to join all the words together there. No, let's use separate words. Come on now, Lily. Our moulding ball tool and your foam shaping mat. Blimey, get your teeth around that one. That was not easy. So you kind of get those over on the website, and some people find that a lot easier to shape their flowers that way using the ball tools. But I have to say, for me, this is the way I've always found easiest to shape my flowers, is actually by just rolling them around my pokey tool. It could be anything that's got that sort of cylindrical shape to it. So it could be a pencil, it could be a pen, anything at all like that. Of course, if you are using a pokey tool, like I am, do just take a little bit of care because of course it is very, very sharp on the end. We're just rolling those petals round to give them a little bit of life, a little bit of shape and dimension, and then we'll take our tacky glue and we'll layer the two together to give us that fuller flower. Just like to use the end of my poker tool in the centre there, just while that glue grabs, and that's an opportunity to give your florals and those petals that little bit more of a shape as well, just while that's gluing down. Leave that to one side and let's do pretty much the same with our other two flowers. So we're going to roll around the petals, so curling them back. You can of course shape the petals in lots of different ways. If you want to be shaping those petals so they're curling upwards, then absolutely you can do. That's going to give you a totally different look to your flower. It's going to make it look like a completely different flower. But here we're just going to roll it and curl it upwards, so we've got that nice little sort of roundness to the petals. And then once again, let's take off tacky glue, a little bit in the centre. You don't need a lot of tacky glue, it's a nice strong adhesive, so just a little dot there will do the job just nicely. Hold that into position while it starts to grab, and we'll leave this to one side. And then let's shape our other one. So again, rolling around our petals. And of course, you don't always have to do them as double layers like we are doing here. If you want a really full flower, you could be going for maybe even 3 layers of petals. Or if you want a little bit more of a dainty flower, then of course you could actually be just going in with 1 layer of the petals. That choice is yours. It's just going to give you a look and feel, different look and feel even to your florals. A little bit of our glue onto the back of there. And
so sorry, Lily, I've dropped that now. I do apologise. It's because I found a question, and I promise you, I weren't doing it to catch your attention. I've literally had a question come in that's a bit random, and I've just thought I wanted to ask you because you might know the answer to this. XCon94 on YouTube, strange name, but I like it. Good morning. I have a question about the disappearing ink pad that is launching this month with the Sheena collection. Yeah. Does it only work with watercolour, or does it work with alcohol pens too?
I'm going to be totally honest, I've not tried it.
Me neither.
I can't say.
And that's why I wanted to ask you, because I thought, I wonder if Lily's tried it.
Do you know what?
I haven't tried it with alcohol pens.
Do you know, it was on my list of things to try, and I was going to try it. I just literally ran out of time.
But I'll tell you what we will do. We will find that out for you, and we'll let you know in the next show.
Yes, we will. Okay? We will. Absolutely, yeah. Really sorry on that one, but I'm hoping it does, because
we've only used it with the paints, haven't we? So yeah.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to think it would, but I'm not really sure if you've laid down alcohol.
The thing is, I'm not quite sure what the composition of the ink pad is. No one will tell me, basically, because they don't want to let out the
Well, I know a lady
secrets.
will be able to help us, so I'm going to ask her in between the break. Yeah. So if you do join us back for the later show, the launch party at 5 p.m. here in the UK, or 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, we'll try and find an answer for you, because I'm going to ask the lady herself.
Ooh. We'll find out.
We will find out. This is looking blooming lovely, Lily.
Pretty, isn't it? The flowers are just absolutely gorgeous.
And I love how you've shaped your flowers, because we all shape florals and flowers differently.
We do.
Yeah, and I love how you've done that.
I was watching Debbie Fisher the other week. She was sort of like pinching them and folding them in half. That was a lovely effect. And that's going to give you a completely different look. It's going to make it look almost like a different dye, which I always think is quite cool. It's nice to just vary things up, just literally by shaping your florals a little bit different. Now, these ferns are ever so slightly too large for this project. So all we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of trimming. We're going to trim off those bottom 2 sets of leaves. And then that's the word I was thinking of. Thank you, Jamie Mayer. Pruning. We're going to do a little bit of pruning. You can tell I'm not a gardener, can I? Oh, we're going to trim it. No, we're going to prune it. We're going to pop our ferns coming around the edges here, starting to sort of hug the frame where we've got that gorgeous die-cut frame. We're going to adorn that with our foliage, and it's going to really finish off our finished card here. So that's going to go into the bottom. So we've got almost like a mirror image, top and bottom. So it's that design flow throughout the card. Let's bring in some more of these gorgeous leaves, and I love the fact that it gives you that debossed detail into that leaf as well. It's not just about die cutting that outer shape, it's bringing in all that lovely debossed detail as well. Let's bring in another one on the bottom there, once again for a little bit of balance. And then let's take one of these smaller ones here. Might pop a little foam pad onto the reverse of this, just on the end, just where it's overlapping the edge of the cardstock. Oh, decided it was going to stick to my finger instead. Never mind, abandon that plan. Let's go back in with our tacky glue. You can be using your hot glue to do your florals, of course. That's a lot more instant, so if you want that really quick grab, then your hot glue is definitely the one to go for. But I do like to use my tacky glue because it gives you a little bit more time to titivate, so to speak, and actually arrange your florals exactly how you want. You've got that little bit of your wiggle room with those, which is going to be perfect to make sure you're nice and happy with that composition. I know we are rapidly running out of time. I have to say at home, I'll be spending hour upon hour just making sure I'm totally happy with that composition, building it up, adding plenty of leaves on the finished card. We do have a few more leaves, but just for speed, we are going to probably just about stop there. Finishing touch, always recommend give your flowers a centre. It makes a massive difference to actually have something in the middle of your florals. So let's go in with some of our pearls. These are
I've had another question, Lily, if I could just quickly ask you. Daphne Rogers on Facebook is asking, is the linen cardstock, is that linen cardstock that you use for those flowers at the start?
So the linen card, so for the larger one I've used the Spring 3x6 inch card pad, but for the two smaller ones I've used the Age of Elegance linen card.
Thank you.
So you can see the sort of two different effects on there. Now of course you could go to town, you could carry on adding more leaves, more pearls, more bling, butterflies, everything, glitter. You could chuck it all at that, but going to leave it nice and clean and plain and simple. A little bit different to our original one, but how absolutely stunning are those floral creations. Hope you've enjoyed the craft a lot as much as I have. If you do remake this project, please do share your pictures. I always love to see them.
Lovely. I'm just there scrolling my name down because I've just been given a name. Ooh. So I'm just going to write it just onto there, and then I'm going to put that to one side because we have a winner being randomly picked, and our lovely Hayley's just sent that through. And it's lovely Carletta Morris with the 4 cats.
Oh,
so there you go, Carletta. We're going to be sending you over these gorgeous metallic markers from our colorist range. And thank you very much for sharing your picture. Please do keep sharing them. CTV. Oh, sorry. Jamie, this is for Carletta. CTV prizes at crafterscompanion.co.uk. That's for you, Carletta, to let us know. Your name is on the back. I'm going to hand that over to the social team. We've got one more little giveaway later on for sharing your Hug a Cat picture days. And you can be just sending your cats. It doesn't, you know, literally, that's what it's all about. It's a little bit of fun, just for simply joining us. Lots of people have said thank you very much, Lily, for a beautiful card. And the card's beautiful. So, yes, it is stunning, Daphne. I completely agree with you. It's absolutely beautiful. But please do continue to share those pictures. Do we have the strap for the pictures, Jamie?
Oh, she didn't ask for much, does she?
Studio at crafterscompanion.co.uk. There you go. That's for all you guys who want to send your pictures and come and join us back at 5 p.m. for our fabulous launch party show where we've got the, I mean, she's already shown you a few of the bits. Age of Elegance, which is divine, that collection. We've got the magazine, issue number 5, and that's that lovely, I almost feel like I'm dressed for this one, tropical one.
Oh, yeah.
Then you've got also the split dies, which I've got a craft along with them on tomorrow, which reminds me, Lily, I need to crack on with that project before
I've been cracking
today.
the whip. Come on, Debbie. I like craft done.
But thank you, Lily, for your beautiful, beautiful craft along, because it's absolutely stunning. Don't forget, you can get hold of your floral creations with the fabulous free linen pads. Sorry, Jamie, I should have shown it you earlier. There you go. There's all the details on the screen, and that's the fabulous collection that you can get your hands on today if you missed out the first time round, because they are back in stock. I promise, Jamie, I'll behave myself. But do come and join us. Thank you to everybody who's joined in the comments today. Thank you to Hayley, Jamie, Johnny, Lily, and all the guys backstage as well. But do come and join us for that fabulous launch party show at 5 p.m. here in the UK, because it's bound to be another crafty, fun-filled show. So we'll see you all there. Bye-bye for now.